Founded by the psychologist Carl Fenischl, the League School began nearly 60 years ago with a pioneering vision in the treatment of children with autism. Nothing spoke as loudly as his success. As the League School's enrollment grew, Fenischl consistently showed that children with autism can be educated, that they can make progress both socially and academically in day treatment programs. He called it the healing power of learning. Today, we work with children, teens, and adults with learning and emotional challenges. But Fenischl's principle still holds true. Teaching is healing for our students, their families, and all the lives we touch.
Dr. Fenischl had used the term the healing power of learning. Children who were diagnosed with a mental illness really had never had any successes in their life. There was a history of trauma, of not doing well, and he really looked at small increments of change and progression and growth as something that would really impact who they were as a person.
Carl Fenischl did talk about the healing power of learning. I see that all the time with the families that I work with the children I work with. For the first step, really, with the parents is just giving them information and educating them and disabusing them of incorrect notions or beliefs that they've carried around. And so really the first place to start, I believe, is with the families.
In the League School, we have clinical issues that we're dealing with between the psychiatrists, the social workers, and the psychologists, but then we have to coordinate that with the academic staff who's providing the teaching and the education to the students on a regular day-to-day basis. All that leads to a very kind of familial, multidisciplinary response in treating children on a regular day-to-day basis.
The healing power of learning is engaging for the professionals who work at League Center, not only for the children and for the families.
You know, therapy is a very special thing, but if you can help a kid to recreate what happens in the therapy room, in the classroom, and then in their family and in the world, then you've done your job.
I have very supportive supervisors and just staff in general that I didn't have in public school per se. And that's something that I missed when I didn't have it, and I appreciate it even more now.
We have many people who have left the League Center and gone on to other experiences in their careers and come back to us and talk about how valuable they realized the training that they received here was for them.
The League School is special in many ways. The fact that we bring together an interdisciplinary team of experts who work in concert. The fact that we involve parents and families in treatment and see every moment, even the most challenging, as an opportunity to learn. But if you had to point to one thing above the rest, nothing sets us apart more than the freedom and creativity we extend to our staff. The special ed teachers and clinicians we look for and who find us embody the creative spirit.
The one thing that I love about working at League is that everyone is allowed to be creative. You are able to bring forth all of your special skills, your attributes, your talents to the classroom.
What it challenged me to do was dig deep within myself to find how I could create moments with these kids of true and genuine learning.
I think working with this population has allowed me to have to think more on my toes and be more creative.
At the League School, the main interest is the child. Being creative, being spontaneous, and getting the support from the League School in order to do those things, that makes it very helpful. The end goal is to make sure that we have a student or students that are whole individuals.
What ifs can become a reality in a place like this because it is small enough and you have leadership that's open enough to be able to make things like that happen. That piece of it, the creativity piece, maybe it's not for everyone, but for me, it's like helps me come to work every day.
Success has made us confident and humble. We know what it takes to educate children, teens, and adults who are diagnosed with learning and emotional problems. But we also know how demanding the job is. It's a dynamic environment where you always need to keep the big picture in mind. You have to look beyond any one problem or diagnosis and see the whole person. When you connect at that level and you sense their purpose in life, transformation happens. Those are the moments we celebrate.
The whole child means really taking into account not just their learning abilities, but how do they learn? How do they think? How do they integrate the information that's coming to them in a sensory way?
If you really are interested in the children, and which most teachers are, I think, then this is the right place for you, because here the supervision or the help that you receive is like a gentle hand on your shoulder.
There are many different ways of learning, and we don't have to be attached to just one way of doing things. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways I've had in the job, and it's also one of the hardest things to express to a parent who wants their child to respond to them in this specific way, and to let them know he cannot say I love you, but he's touching your face. That counts.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you.